Watch Ethan Hawke constantly put his family in danger and then act so surprised when the consequences of all of his actions come roaring back and threaten his very livelihood. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Sinister, written and directed by Scott Derrickson, also written by C. Robert Cargill, C. Robert Wright, Robert Wright. No, not that Robert Wright, not one of the Wright brothers, the long-lost Wright brother as it were. This stars Ethan Hawke as Elliot Oswald, a very, very passionate true crime horror writer that had a hit book about 10 years before, and he's been struggling to find that next hit piece ever since. Not to be confused with the WWE/A&E biography on Randy Savage, not that kind of hit piece. Non-wrestling fans have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. He just wants to get immersed in the atmosphere and get the inspiration because it's the meaning of his life. Writing's his inspiration. Boy, that was a really, really bad rendition of that song. He takes his wife and 2 children and they move to another house that's very, very close to where a series of grisly murders happen. Like, literally in the same house. Granted, the murders happened in the backyard, but nevertheless, some really, really bad shit happened. But he doesn't bother to tell his wife, doesn't bother to tell his children, just says, this will be alright, nothing's gonna hurt us. No, that's not how it works out in horror movies, but then as they're unpacking, he goes up to the attic that apparently was never cleared out, and there's a box of Super 8 films, and as he goes through them, he finds inspiration for his next book, but boy, really weird, creepy shit is happening, like a lot of snuff film footage. Don't really know why that stuff was left around, but nevertheless, then we have a horror movie as weird shit goes on and jump scares and loud noises. Okay, so Sinister is regarded as one of the scariest movies of the last 10 to 15 years. Christ knows why, and I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this. I didn't find this film scary when I first saw it. Now, I did just rewatch it because I'm preparing to watch The Black Phone, which if the name's Scott Derrickson, if it doesn't quite ring a bell, he did Doctor Strange. He also did The Exorcism of Emily Rose. He also did the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. That was so goddamn laborious and NyQuil fueled, I called it The Day the Acting Stood Still. Keanu Reeves might as well have said, you should let me. Whoa. So yeah, Super 8 films though. If you're not familiar with Super 8, this is a better Super 8. Watch this. Watch this instead. I'll wait. See, wasn't that great? It's actually a forgotten Steven Spielberg produced movie. J.J. Abrams was in it as well. People say they compared it to E.T. Here's the thing, Super 8 was better. Boy, just throwing out controversial film opinions right here. I'm not saying Super 8 was necessarily the best thing ever, but it definitely used the whole Super 8 concept a lot better than this. I didn't like it when I first saw it, and I'm not going to lie, I think I hate it even more now. I do not understand why anybody finds this scary. Now, I'm not knocking. If you guys find this scary, fan-fucking-tastic. If you got into it, got just totally scared, cool. I get scared by some films. There are some films that have haunted me, some that haunt me more than others, and, everybody has different interpretations of horror. My thing is, with Ethan Hawke's character, he's just very one-note driven. And I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the character. He just wants to make his book, make his book, make his book. And he doesn't think there will be any consequences because, oh no, this stuff can't affect me. It won't affect my family. If I did even 5 fucking minutes of research, I would have realized I probably shouldn't move here. He probably could have just found the inspiration doing that, but nope, he has to totally do this stupid shit. It also stars Fred Thompson, who was a mainstay of Law & Order, and also Juliet Rylance, who plays his wife, Tracy. And then there's the character of Bagul. I call him the Kabuki jump scare boy, because that's basically what he was. Take a look at the mask and everything. He looks like a Kabuki jump scare character. Played by Nicholas King, and the kids are played by Claire Foley, and Trevor's played by some guy, Mike. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the kid. It's a very, very long name. So it comes from Blumhouse, because of course it fucking does. It was also only made for $3 million, so I will give them credit for that. It was made on the cheap, and it made quite a bit of money. It made like $50 million in the U.S. It made $82 million worldwide. So yeah, even with an advertising budget that might have been twice of the $3 million budget, it still made a lot of money. And then they made a sequel that was basically copy and paste. I didn't really care for this. And it got more frustrating as time went on because you're like, wow, these characters are really monumentally stupid and this story is very simple and it's not scary. And I'm sorry, the pulsating sounds of jump scare stuff, it was all ridiculous and phoned in and stupid. He finds the Super 8 films, he watches this stuff. There's a family that's hung from the tree that's in the same house that they were in the backyard of the same house they're in. somebody that, a family that was fried in a fire. They danced into the fire, and then another family that was knifed to death. Basically, a bunch of murders happened. And the police are trying to warn him, basically, like, we know you moved here. The sheriff, Fred Thompson in particular, didn't appreciate how he portrayed the police in his books, especially his most recent one where they let the killer go because of gross incompetence or whatever. And basically the wife says, I'm with you, but if this doesn't work out, I'm going to take the kids and leave. By Christ, if she had done that, we would have had a very short movie. So, the family moves in, everything, all this stuff goes on, and everything's going good. But soon, Bagul, this creepy Kabuki boy, shows up and decides to do jump scares and loud noises. Under no circumstances should you ever bring a good flashlight or turn on the lights when you're in the attic. Why would you ever do that, you fucking idiot? Things go bump in the night. The daughter also paints a lot and ends up painting the rain slicker girl that is one of the girls that factors into the ending of this movie. Basically, Bagul is this creature that has been haunting people since, the early Christian days, I guess, or even the 14th century or whatever. Who the fuck knows, actually? Nobody knows. I'm not sure the movie did either. Where basically, any family that he targets and destroys, he keeps one child. And, gee, I wonder how the murders get committed if we can't have a ghost doing them. Oh, he possesses the child and the child commits the murders. That's the big mystery. I assumed that much when they kept talking about the fact that, children would go missing and everything. It's not really that shocking of a revelation. It just gets to the point where you're just kind of fucking laughing at it. There's, people hanging from a tree and all this stuff going on. And don't get me wrong, there is an element of a good idea here. It just wasn't executed very well. In fact, I think this movie is pretty much publicly executed. At one point, the film catches fire. Bagul starts showing up in high. I'm going to do this. Just gonna do this and everything. I'm just gonna show up and do this stuff. I'm just gonna, just tilt my head. I'm gonna make the kids do my bidding. At one point, Elson falls through the goddamn ceiling like he's goddamn Lionel Richie. Well, he's not Lionel Richie because he can't walk on the ceiling. Nobody gets that reference. And no, he finds more drawings and creepy shit. Mr. Boogie, aka Bagul, because it would be hard for the kids to say Bagul. There's a deputy that's a big fan. He asks this deputy to investigate this stuff, and it turns out the deputy finds out, hey, there are these series of murders that are all tied back, and everybody lived in a house where a previous murder took place, and all this shit's been happening, and you basically just sped up the timeline, you fucking idiot. Everybody get upset at everybody at the wrong time for no goddamn reasons, what I wrote down. And we get it. There's a Kabuki jump scare guy trying to do the same damn shit that he's been doing for the last, hour. This movie also, it just, the atmosphere isn't even there. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I hate this movie, because I don't mind the idea that a ghost will possess children and, to have the children do the bidding and everything and have this army of ghosts. That's not even a bad idea. It also might have something to do with the fact that I've never cared necessarily for Ethan Hawke. It's not that he's a bad actor. He's been good in some stuff, but anytime I see him, I tend to despair. That's why I'm worried about The Black Phone. But nevertheless, I will give The Black Phone a chance because it's also written by the son of Stephen King. And as he talks to the deputy more, Elliot yells about his writing being the sole reason for him living. Trevor continues to have night terrors, the son does, and everything. At one point, it was found in a box, and then was found in the bushes. There's a ghost dog, Way of the Samurai, for no reason. That's a deep cut. Vincent D'Onofrio pops in for a cameo. He didn't ask to be credited because apparently him and Ethan Hawke are friends, or at least were at this time. Probably still are. I have no fucking idea. And he did this as a favor to his friend. That's really fucking cool. He talks about Bagul, the eater of children. And if he threw them, he'd be the yeeter of children. And if he was related to Doug, he'd be the skeeter of children. Enough of that. Didn't think you see or hear a Doug reference, did you? So, Elliot asks the deputy more about the stuff, and then the deputy basically tells him, if you continue to sleep in this house, it's just going to haunt you and wear on your head. And then at one point, we see the Super 8 camera being filming people at night. It's clearly the daughter, because Bagul has, no way to hold onto something solid. Not yet, at least. And then the film gets tossed down the goddamn opening in the attic. Is like Bagul saying, here, you take it, burn it. I don't give a damn. I don't have no use for this anymore. I've already got your family. Ha ha ha. And then they decide to leave. And the sheriff even says, hope nobody chased you out of town. This is after the sheriff basically berated him and told him to fucking leave town. But no, nobody did. It's just they left, and then the deputy tells him, yeah, you just went back to your old house, and this guy's going to find you, basically. And then the daughter axes them to death, and then Bagul carries her off, and yeah, that was the one of the scariest movies of the last 10 fucking years. A goddamn slog and a half that really just went nowhere and had such an obvious conclusion, and everything was so painstakingly obvious how it was going to happen. It's like nothing was shocking about it. Oh God, there's ghostly kids. Oh God, there's this, there's that. It was well shot. I'm not saying from a technical perspective it wasn't well done, especially for $3 million, but it wasn't scary at all. I didn't jump once the first time I saw it, and even though I hadn't seen it in a number of years, it actively took away jump scares that happened in previous movies. Somehow, this movie is soul-suckingly bad, in my personal opinion, and the second one isn't any better. It's a sequel to a movie that, I get why they made a sequel, because $3 million, $82 million profit makes total sense, but god fucking damn it, this movie's shit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.